Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. Xian Jingyun struck with both palms. He struck 4 times consecutively. 4 palm seals were launched in the air. The Soul Diamond Seal, the Great Blitz Treasure Seal, the Outer Circle Mystic Seal, and the Inner 8-Word Seal sailed toward the 4 branch masters. Boom. 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 The 4 branch masters were sent flying back and spat out mouthfuls of fresh blood. They were only in the 2-leaf nascent divinity realm, after all. How could they have held their ground against an 8-leaf cultivator? They merely wanted to save Hua Chongyang by charging at his opponent. Indeed, they managed to buy Hua Chongyang a moment to catch his breath with their attacks. Hua Chongyang flipped backward and stabilized himself. His expression was ghastly and his face was pale as he looked ahead. Moo. Kuei Niu flipped several times in the air and dug its front hooves down before it charged at Xian Jingyun. Kuei Niu. A fierce expression appeared on Xian Jingyun's face when he saw the incoming Kuei Niu. He moved his hands and circulated his primal chi as he cried out, "Die, you livestock." Kuei Niu lowered its head and focused its strength on its horns. Moo. Boom. Xian Jingyun grabbed Kuei Niu's horns. However, due to the huge impact, he was sent flying back for more than 100 meters. As he held on to Kuei Niu's horns, he condensed his primal chi into energy. Bam! 2 palm seals pushed Kuei Niu away. Kuei Niu flipped in the air, it was unclear if it was hurt. Hua Chongyang shouted, "Kuei Niu, return." Moo. Kuei Niu heard the command. It adjusted its footing and flew to the eastern gate. Xian Jingyun did not mind the livestock. Instead, he looked at Hua Chongyang. "You'll die today." Xian Jingyun unleashed his grand technique decisively. Hua Chongyang's face fell. He summoned his avatar and flew into the distance. "You won't get away." Xian Jingyun scoffed as he pursued Hua Chongyang wildly. Meanwhile, near the northern city gate, in a corner of the streets, a figure looked up before making a sharp turn into the corner. A messenger bird flew out from his sleeve, and he fastened a letter to its foot. The person was none other than Li Yunzhao, an elite in the imperial city. Li Yunzhao sent the messenger bird off that disappeared into the horizon at lightning speed. "I hope that my speculations are correct," he muttered under his breath before he quickly disappeared at the end of the alley. Meanwhile, Xian Jingyun did not give up the chase. His eyes were trained on Hua Chongyang. Bam! A palm strike landed Hua Chongyang's back, causing him to plummet in the air. Still alive? Xian Jingyun did not expect Hua Chongyang to be so tenacious. 1,000 caddies drop. Xian Jingyun dropped down like a huge boulder. The Nether Sect members backed away. Whiz! Hua Chongyang summoned his avatar again and flew east. Without a second word, he raised his right hand and tapped his Dantian Sea of Qi. First seat, no. The 4 branch masters did not expect Hua Chongyang to burn his own Sea of Qi without any hesitation. The moment his Sea of Qi was ignited, Hua Chongyang's primal Qi surged out, and he unleashed his grand technique again. To everyone's surprise, Hua Chongyang began to laugh maniacally. "A mighty 8-leaf cultivator, being toyed in the palm of my hands. Xian Jingyun, is this all you've got?" Xian Jingyun frowned. He joined his palms together and said in a gruff voice, "There's nowhere for you to run off. Come at me if you dare. Come on. You shameless prick, hurry." Hua Chongyang kept taunting Xian Jingyun as he flew eastward. At the same time, he wiped the blood away from the edge of his lips and muttered under his breath, "I hope Mr. Fourth's trick works." Xian Jingyun thought the surprise attack from the city wall would kill Hua Chongyang instantly. He did not expect this battle to drag on for so long. He was annoyed to no end. He lifted his head to look at Hua Chongyang, who had ignited his sea of qi. At this moment, Hua Chongyang was clearly flying closer to the ground. He said with a sneer, "You'll die." With swift movements, Xian Jingyun struck with his right hand. The Taoist Soul Diamond. The shining golden palm seal shot out in a straight line. A chill ran up Hua Chongyang's spine. He turned around and faced the palm seal. He raised his hand to defend himself. He gritted his teeth as a determined expression appeared on his face. It seems like, in the end, I won't be able to dodge this. Sect Master, I wish that I'll be able to fight by your side again in the afterlife. When the shining golden palm seal was about to land on Hua Chongyang. Bam! A huge energy saber spun toward Hua Chongyang and destroyed the palm seal. The energy saber circled around him before returning to where it came from. Who was that? Xian Jingyun immediately looked around himself. A hint of dread welled up in his heart when he discovered he was too far from the northern part of the city at this moment. His eyes followed the trajectory of the energy saber as it returned to where it came from before he finally saw a figure standing in the air with his hands on his back. The person was looking at him with a pointed gaze. Soon enough, he saw the person lift his hand before catching the energy saber. When the energy saber disappeared, it revealed an emerald saber that glinted coldly in the sunlight. An expression of joy appeared on Hua Chongyang's face as he cried out, "Sect Master! You're here!" Xian Jingyun's heart sank. He looked up and said in a gruff voice, "You Zhenghai?" Swoosh! Yu Zhenghai disappeared into thin air without any warning. In just a blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Xian Jingyun and struck with his palm. The great dark heavenly palm. Yu Zhenghai launched 5 palm strikes in rapid succession. Bam! 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 Xian Jingyun was struck on his chest. He immediately spat out blood and plummeted to the ground. Boom! In just a moment, Xian Jingyun crashed on the ground. Yu Zhenghai's expression remained indifferent as he stood with his hands on his back. He seemed as steady as Mount Tai. He stood on an energy seal as he descended. The powerful diving motion caused despair to flood Xian Jingyun's heart as he lay on the ground. The great dark heaven energy seal. Yu Zhenghai's feet were covered with energy seals as he shot down. No! Xian Jingyun wanted to dodge, but Yu Zhenghai's speed was too quick for him. Boom! Yu Zhenghai's feet connected with Xian Jingyun's chest. Dirt and dust stirred in the air. The battle ended, and the surroundings were silent. After what seemed like hours, the dust finally settled. Hua Chongyang looked down. He stopped his burning sea of qi and slowly landed. Under Yu Zhenghai's feet, Xian Jingyun was embedded in the ground. His chest and belly were under Yu Zhenghai's feet, clearly dented. Xian Jingyun stared at Yu Zhenghai with widened eyes as blood flowed out from the corners of his mouth. Yu Zhenghai looked down at Xian Jingyun and coldly asked, "Is this all you've got?" Xian Jingyun spat out a mouthful of blood. Yu Zhenghai's protective energy layer prevented the blood from dirtying him. He lifted his feet and walked away. 2 footprints flattened Xian Jingyun's body. Hua Chongyang was shocked. Xian Jingyun's eyes were wide. The air in his chest cavity was leaking out as he struggled to say, You are so powerful?" Then, his head lolled to the side lifelessly. He was dead. One of the 8 great generals of the Imperial Guards, Xian Jingyun, was trampled to death by Yu Zhenghai. Yu Zhenghai sighed as he looked at Hua Chongyang. Hua Chongyang immediately fell to his knees. "I was useless. You can't be blamed for this. You're no match for an 8-leaf opponent. Kuei-nyo merely suffered light injuries. It'll heal in no time. You, on the other hand, have burned your sea of qi." "I am sorry," Yu Zhenghai said. "My life is of no regard to me, Sect Master." Hua Chongyang lowered his gaze. "It's impossible to have no deaths in a war. Please continue to command us, Sect Master." Yu Zhenghai looked at Hua Chongyang. He suppressed his emotions before he said, "Let's go." In the skies, the Nether Sect's flying chariot slowly advanced. Meanwhile, the Nether Sect disciples at the eastern and northern front swarmed into the divine capital. Zhenghai brought Huachongyang back to the Nether Sect's flying chariot. Inside the flying chariot, Wuya glanced at Huachongyang and said, "You burned your sea of qi?" Zhenghai remained silent. Instead, he walked toward the helm with his hands on his back and looked down at the divine capital. Huachongyang said, "This is nothing. It's a shame that I won't be able to fight anymore. Leave the rest to us." Wuya walked away. He looked at the divine capital as well. At this moment, the Azure Dragon Hall's second seat, Yuhong, flew toward them and landed on the flying chariot. "Sect Master, only the eastern and northern gates are breached. The southern and western gates are guarded by many imperial guards. It's difficult for us to advance." Zhenghai sneered. "I'd like to see how long they can last." Zhenghai looked at Wuya, who seemed to be deep in thought, and said, "Wise brother, how should we deal with the stalemates at the western and southern gates?" Wuya smiled and said, "Just leave a few thousand of our men there and continue to cause a scene. If the enemy advances, we'll pull back, if they retreat, we'll march forward. The others should gather at the eastern gate." "Nice." Zhenghai beckoned a nearby subordinate over and had him pass on the message. Wuya looked down at the divine capital and said, "However, the divine capital is huge. There might be elites in hiding. It's dozens of miles from the divine capital's eastern gate to the imperial city. If there's an 8-leaf expert, we can only count on you, eldest senior brother. Do you think you can do it?" Zhenghai was calm and confident. Wuya wondered where Zhenghai's confidence came from. For some unknown reason, he felt like his eldest senior brother's attitude toward the people and matters around him had changed. However, he could not quite put his finger on it. He had worked hard on their campaign to conquer the world. Although his comrades from the Nether Sect had contributed as well, the person who was going to face the 8-leaf Lugu in the end was still Zhenghai. Half a day later. At the western city gate. The Nether Sect's 4 branch masters, Ning Jinshui, Qianhu, Gongfeng, and Meng Jueshan, gazed at the distant western city gates and city wall. As expected of the divine capital, it remains standing even after all we've thrown at it. There's no rush. It's only a matter of time before we breach it. Keep at it, everyone. 100 Nether Sect disciples flew up to the walls at the same time. At the same time, many Brahmin Sea Realm cultivators leaped onto the walls. Both parties began a round of killing. There were clashes of energy, many avatars flew in different directions. The sounds of intense battles could be heard everywhere. "Look out for the Imperial Guards." Ning Jinshui pointed at the armored troops flying toward them. The soldiers leaped onto the city wall and summoned their avatars before they attacked. Dozens of cultivators summoned their 10 Worlds avatars. On the other hand, the members of the Nether Sect were only in the Brahmin Sea Realm. The Imperial Guard overwhelmed them with a crushing momentum. Dozens of Nether Sect members instantly fell from the sky. Ning Jinshui frowned and said, "The Imperial Guards are strong. Charge." 4 of them flew forward. Among the dozens of Imperial Guards, an inconspicuous and small cultivator suddenly summoned his avatar before he flew toward the 4 branch masters from the Nether Sect. Bam! 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 A 4-leaf golden lotus. The avatar that suddenly appeared swept the dozens of Nether Sect members off the city wall. He deliberately concealed his cultivation base? Ning Jinshui led the other 3 branch masters and charged toward the soldier. The 4 of them launched several palm seals at the soldier. Whiz! Seeing one's nature. An arhat golden body appeared around the soldier. Dhyana Mudra. The soldier combined 2 techniques and effectively parried the palm seals from the 4 branch masters. A Buddhist? Both parties stared at each other from a distance. The 4 Nether Sect branch masters regarded the elite with a complicated expression on their faces. Bald donkey. You should be chanting sutras inside a temple. What business do you have here, going against the Nether Sect? Are you sick of living? Ning Jinshui cursed. The soldier looked up, straightened his palm, and said, Amitba. My Buddhist title is Ji Shui. My master is Kong Yuan, the abbot of the Temple of Great Emptiness. My master was killed by old villain Ji in the Mausoleum of Swords. With the fiend path wreaking havoc, how can I stay idle and do nothing? So, you're Kong Yuan's disciple. For every grievance caused, there's someone responsible, for every debt, there is a debtor. Why aren't you seeking revenge from Senior Ji at the Evil Sky Pavilion? Ning Jinshui was amused. The monk, Ji Shui, smiled faintly. Is it inappropriate for me to assist the divine capital when it's in trouble? Regardless, today will be the day you die. The fiend path hasn't changed at all. There's too much violence in all of you. Today, I will teach all of you a hard lesson on my master's behalf. As soon as Ji Shui finished speaking, he activated his arhate golden body again. His shone with a golden light as he charged toward the 4 branch masters. The 4 branch masters struck with their palms. Their palm seals collided with Ji Shui's seeing one's nature. Boom. The Dynama draw was activated. The 4 of them were pushed back. At this very moment, on a towering tree beyond the western gate, an incredibly exquisite energy arrow sailed forth. The energy arrow was as thick as a person's arm. It shot in the air like a comet toward the monk, Ji Shui. Ji Shui was shocked. He hastily joined his palms together to intercept the energy arrow. Alas, the energy arrow continued to push forward. Bam! Ji Shui flipped backward. A godly archer? The Nether Sect members turned to look at the towering tree. An old man and a young girl stood on the tree as they looked at the divine capital. Hua Yueshing maintained her posture as she pulled on the bowstring until the bow resembled a full moon. Meteor after the moon. Whoosh. 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 Several energy arrows burst forth from between Hua Yueshing's fingers. She fired them at the garrison soldiers above the city wall. Every arrow took down 1 soldier. Hua Yueshing ignored Ji Shui and launched a frenzied attack at the city wall. In no time at all, the top of the city wall was drenched with blood. Many corpses lay in the pool of blood with a gaping and bleeding chest. What excellent shooting techniques! Ning Jinshui was full of praise. Attack, my brothers! Someone's helping us! The Nether Sect members' morale was boosted as they launched another wave of attacks. Meanwhile, Ji Shui looked at Hua Yueshing, who was standing on the treetop, with a frown on his face. Without a second word, he leaped off the city wall and flew away from the western gate. His speed was incredibly fast. Although it was far away, for a nascent divinity realm elite, the distance of several thousand meters could be covered in a few breaths. Ji Shui said gruffly, "Put down the butcher's knife and become a Buddha now." He joined his palms together, casting Seeing One's Nature. At the same time, he unleashed his Dhyana Mudra. The great Vajra hand sign shot out from between his palms. Hua Wudao looked at Ji Shui disapprovingly and said, "Bald donkey. Just who do you think you are?" Hua Wudao leaped out and walked on air to intercept the attack. The 8 trigrams spread out from under his feet, while the 6 directions 9 shining golden scripts spun around him. Then, he summoned his avatar. After severing his lotus and recultivation, he had a 5-leaf golden lotus. Ji Shui's eyes widened. No. Bam. 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 The huge avatar's hand moved and grabbed the Dhyana Mudra. Retreat. Ji Shui hastily retracted his Dhyana Mudra. Bald donkey. If you're not going to go to hell, who will? The 9 scripts struck Ji Shui's chest at this moment. Bam. 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 Without the Dhyana Mudra, Ji Shui was as fragile as a piece of paper. The 6 compatible Taoist seal landed on him. Boom. Ji Shui fell to the ground with a loud crash and stopped breathing immediately. Hua Wudao glanced at the western city wall before he said, "Yu Xing, carry on. Nobody's getting close on my watch." Understood. Hua Yuexing was invigorated. Under Hua Wudao's protection, she pulled on her bow with greater fervor. So long as cultivators appeared on the city wall, she would immediately take them out with an energy arrow. The 4 branch masters formed the vanguard. Without high-rank cultivators among the enemy's ranks, they could only passively defend themselves. There was nothing they could do to the godly archer, Hua Yuexing, who was 1,000 miles away as well. "The sect master has ordered that we leave 3,000 men here to continue harassing the garrison while the others are to gather at the eastern gate." Understood. The next day. In the Evil Sky Pavilion's eastern pavilion, Zhou opened his eyes and gauged his extraordinary power. It was almost completely replenished. Compared to when he only possessed the human scroll, Zhou clearly felt that he could store more extraordinary power now. Based on his previous cultivation base, even without his extraordinary power, cultivators below the 5-leaf stage were no match for him. He stopped meditating and exited the eastern pavilion. He stretched his limbs when he was outside. At this time, Duanmu Sheng hurried in and said with a bow, "Master, a letter from Li Yunzhao." "Li Yunzhao? Kindly have a look." Duanmu Sheng handed him the letter. Zhou opened the letter and read it. After scanning its contents, he frowned. "Have you read it?" Duanmu Sheng nodded. He immediately fell to one knee. "I'm willing to head to the divine capital." Zhou considered this as he stroked his beard. This is his business, after all. "But, he's also your disciple," Duanmu Sheng said. "Have you ever considered that if Li Yunzhao is telling the truth, your eldest senior brother will only hate me more?" Zhou asked. Duanmu Sheng was stunned. There were those who were obstinate to the bone, and nothing could be done to change that. Hua Wudao, for example, had studied the 6 compatible seal for 20 years just so he could fight the Evil Sky Pavilion's master and get over his obsession. Hua Wudao did not need the Yuan sect's support. He even sent his disciple away. A person would have to finish what they started, no matter how difficult it was. A master for a day, a father for life. Based on this, there was no way Zhou would stay idle when he knew his disciple was in danger. In any case, he had to make a difficult choice. Zhou recalled Zhenghai's words when Zhenghai was kneeling behind the mountain. He recalled the hardships Zhenghai endured, his twisted fate, and his 2 deaths. "Wait." Zhou raised a hand. "Master?" Duanmu Sheng looked at his master in confusion. He could tell what was going through his master's mind. "Send word to see Wuya. I'd like to confirm Zhenghai's 2 deaths." Understood. 2 days later. The sun rose from the east as usual. The morning mist hung over Golden Court Mountain. Like always, Zhou was stretching his limbs in the eastern pavilion. At this moment, Duanmu Sheng entered the eastern pavilion with a letter in hand. "Master, 7th junior brother has sent a reply." "Bring it here." Zhou took the letter. After reading it, he said coldly, "A rascal will always be a rascal." "Master, did eldest senior brother really die twice in the past?" Duanmu Sheng was shocked. "It's a characteristic of Wookieans. They can resurrect 3 times if they die. However, each resurrection would cost them 300 years of their lives. I'm afraid that your eldest senior brother might not have long to live," Zhou said. When Duanmu Sheng heard this, his mind went blank. In the divine capital, the Nether Sect successfully advanced from the eastern and northern gates. After 5 days of advancing, 100,000 Nether Sect members arrived at the Imperial City. As far as the eye could see, apart from the Imperial City, the divine capital was riddled with fallen buildings and rubble. "Land the chariot." The Nether Sect's flying chariot groaned. After a few days of fighting, the flying chariot was teetering and full of dents and holes. Understood. The flying chariot landed slowly, stopping right before the Imperial City. Tens of thousands of Nether Sect members fell on one knee in unison. Greetings, Sect Master. Zhenghai, Si Wuya, and Hua Chongyang emerged from the huge chariot. The Imperial City? They looked at the Imperial City above the towering red walls. This was the place that Zhenghai had been dreaming of entering. Now, it had become a reality. He could not help but feel emotional. He said, "Those who follow me shall prosper, and those who go against me shall die." The large group of Nether Sect members shouted as well, their morale boosted. "Those who follow me shall prosper, and those who go against me shall die." The sound waves rocked the Imperial City. Creak. The gate of the Imperial City, which was more than 100 feet tall, slowly opened. It was only slit, but it seemed like another world in there. As the slit widened, they saw a large number of Imperial guards standing before them. Meanwhile, from the peak of the Imperial City, a white-robed cultivator announced in a clear voice, "Activate the 10-terminal formation."